Did is I got a bottle, preferably a Gatorade one, and I put it on the cooling system. Took out the cap first. And that's gonna be hard. You might have to replace it depending on if it's broken or not. And yeah, so I put the cap on. I filled it up with coolant, as you would see inside my other, you'll see sooner on. And then I just waited for the bubbles to rise. So you fill up with coolant or water. Try and get demineralized water if you're gonna use water and not want to waste coolant. And you just fill it up until the coolant reaches about halfway up, and then slowly but surely you turn the car on, and then you pretty much wait for the air to start rising out of the system. So you'll get big chunks of bubbles coming up first, and it'll be like small amounts though, but big chunks, and then eventually it's going to start bubbling up and rising and bubbling up and rising. And I don't know if it helped or not, but I squeezed this little hose over here. Just be careful not to burn yourself or anything like that, but I was just giving it a good squeeze, holding it up and, you know, squeezing it while it was still cold, trying to get the circulation to start going through. Kind of like when you're doing CPR on somebody and you're pumping their chest. And yeah, that kind of helped, I think. And I also revved my car a lot. Not too much, but just between 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs. And then I came back and I saw that it was rising and falling and rising and falling. And at one point, it just started falling until it went all the way down. And that's when you know, like, the system is starting to circulate to the coolant. And then I chucked in a bit more coolant and like repeated the process of like revving it up, coming back to check the system, pumping the pipe, pretty much pressing on the pipe, squeezing it if I can, as long as it's not too hot. And then revving the car up again. Make sure you have the heater on, set to full bull, turn off your AC. I don't think you'll need it. And then all you do is you just watch the water rise and fall, rise and fall. You will have some spillage sometimes, but that's to be expected. As long as, you know, the coolant is rising and falling and you see lots of bubbles coming up, you'll see like a foam of air at some point or another, like just foams of air coming on top of that thing. And then all of a sudden the coolant dissipating back down to almost empty on the bottle cap at least, and then all you see is just like coolant flowing through the system, and that's when you know you're doing it right. And I don't know, for safety measures, I just kept doing it until I was satisfied with what I was getting, seeing that the system was flowing properly and it was coming from that direction all the way down to that pipes, making a full circulation system. And yeah, then I took out the bottle. As you can see, the heat shrunk it and whatnot. And I also recommend that you twist it every now and then while it's in there. Just twist it around just to make sure that it doesn't melt onto the metal, and then you're gonna have another issue. So yeah, keep that in mind. Otherwise you might get this bottle stuck in there and you're gonna be stuck up shit's creek again. Unless you can get a metal bottle to suffice, but that's easier said than done. And yeah, the system seems to have been bled now. And it looks like it's at normal operating temperature. If I rev it up, it doesn't seem to increase too much, so that means it's working pretty well. I'm gonna give it a test run right now just to see how it goes. Hopefully it fixes the issue. If not, I'm back to square one. But yeah, let's give it a good test around the block and see how I go.